From the folks that brought you Blood Hunter and Blood Cleric, a new mage joins the limelight. Today, let's talk about Critical Role's hard-hitting, hell-haunting, hemomantic masters, Blood Magic Wizards. Welcome to the Wintry Wyvern. Let's jump in. Found in the Tal'dorei Reborn setting guide by Darrington Press, blood magic was originally adopted out of necessity. In an effort to fight back the devils and undead in the Marrow Valley of Wildmount, a priest turned to the Matron of Ravens for guidance, whom gifted him the knowledge of hemocraft. Thus began the formation of the Tal'dorei orders, where blood mages fight alongside blood hunters and blood clerics to repel the unnatural and extraplanar. While the intentions of hemocraft were initially pure of heart, over time the practice inevitably spread to the dens of more nefarious folk. How you channel the magic of vitality and what you use it for is entirely up to you. Before anything, the book has a page dedicated to blood magic, emphasizing that you should definitely make sure your party and DM are okay with the aesthetic. Blood flying everywhere isn't everyone's favorite thing and rightfully gross at times, as it absolutely deserves to be. Clear that up on session 0 and make sure your friends are cool with it so you can describe your fatalities to their fully realized effect. Additionally, there's some lines about how to deal with ancestries and enemies that don't have blood. Constructs and undead are often a hard no, but for the rest, work with your DM on establishing the variations on each creature's liquid vitality, whether it be oil or essence or a life juice. Actually, no, let's walk that back. Just calling it alternatives to blood is perfectly fine. Anyway, the first feature is blood channeling. You use your own vitality as collateral for spellcasting. When you have less than your maximum hit points, you can use your body as an arcane focus. So that means what? Well, not much really. Although the feature says arcane focus, your body ends up functioning a lot more like a component pouch, which lets you cast material spells as long as you have a free hand available. With your body as your arcane conduit, you now have an arcane focus that can never be stolen from you and is always on your person, as it is literally your person. Now, the second feature is pretty special. If your spell has a designated cost, you can pay a literal blood price as a replacement. You take 1d10 necrotic damage as collateral per 50 gold, minimum 1d10 damage. Arcane Lock, for example, takes 1d10 damage. Glyph of Warding, 200 gold, 4d10 damage. Planar Binding, 1000 gold, 20d10 damage. The self-damage can be enormous. Casting Sequester, for example, is 100d10, a cozy average of, only 550 damage. Now, a wizard with a d6 hit die is probably ill-equipped to handle a lot of these spells. If a spell drops you to 0 HP, the spell doesn't go off, but there are some ways around it. The first is temporary hit points. False Life, for example, gives at least 5 temp HP and covers the cost of any arcane lock or continual flame cast after it. An Artillerist Artificer's Protector Cannon, for example, also gives an infinite amount of temporary hit points that covers most low-cost spells without the use of extra spell slots. The second trick that really breaks the cost ceiling is Death Ward. If you've got a cleric friend that's okay with you becoming a really bloody credit card, like a Blood Cleric, for example, Death Ward lets you totally dodge the 0 hit points caveat, keeping you alive at 1 HP no matter how high the blood price. Suddenly, Sequester doesn't seem all that pricey. This one's the only feature that should almost always be checked by your DM. Depending on your campaign's economy, this might require a house rule or two to keep in check. It's an out-of-combat utility that might get a bit out of hand, but balance-wise and combat-wise, I don't have any issues with it. Also, at second level, you get Sanguine Burst. On any non-cantrip spell, you can spend a small chunk of your own hit points to re-roll damage dice equal to your int mod. This is a great improvement on your damage as a whole, but again, wizards don't have the best health pool for this. We've seen it before on a sorcerer's empowered metamagic, which is much kinder on their HP bar. 1 to 9 self-damage isn't too high a price to pay, just, as we've said before, keep a cleric handy. The Blood Wizard makes pain a shared experience with Bond of Mutual Suffering. At level 6, when a creature hits you with an attack, you can spend your reaction to make them take the same amount. This could be a lot of damage. There's no saving throw to this, so it's only limited by, again, your health pool. You've got to be conscious to use that reaction, so use it before you get too low on hit points. It competes with Shield, Absorb Elements, and of course Counterspell for that reaction economy, so best to use it when none of those spells can save you. Glyph of Hemorrhaging is a spooky one. Whenever you damage a creature with a spell, you can brand them with a baleful curse. For the next minute, all attacks against them deal an extra 1d6 necrotic damage. Now you might think this is just Wizard Hex, but there's a couple big differences. Firstly, it works on all attacks on the target, not just yours. Setting this up right before your fighter's turn could tack on an extra chunk of damage, compounding with every ally coming next. It also takes no action economy to cast. You can tack this onto any damaging spell without worrying about bonus actions or spell slots. A great trick is holding your spell to align with an ally's turn, proccing the curse as a reaction with guaranteed damage like Magic Missile or Shatter, and letting your allies swing hard and heavy. Of course, there's a handful of caveats. The creature can end the curse on a successful con save. The initial cursing is guaranteed, but keeping it up longer than a round is not, especially on bigger bosses with hardier bodies. Timing it just right is essential to pumping out a lot of this damage. Also, just like Hex, only attack rolls count. Scorching Ray is an obvious choice to combo with the curse, adding 1d6 per connection. If the curse sticks for a full round, it works amazingly with animate objects, which adds a full 10 more attacks to your party count. So get creative and work with your team on this for some awesome coordinated combinations. Finally, we have Thicker Than Water. Your body acclimates to the constant self-sacrifice, channeling a self-preserving energy. All spells or magical effects that heal you gain at least a +5 proficiency bonus to their healing, and while concentrating on a spell, you gain resistance to non-magical bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing. Gotta say, not the flashiest capstone, but a pretty useful one. I'll be honest, there isn't much non-magical bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing at this high of a tier, so I'm not sure how much use you'll get out of that one. But when it does work, you'll be preserving HP that you're better off spending yourself. If I haven't said it enough, a cleric is your best friend, as their healing is stronger on you than anyone else. A druid's good berries and healing spirit add an extra +5 to every tick of healing. Likewise, Regenerate gives a consistent 6 HP every turn. At this point, it'd be great to pick up Cure Wounds yourself through a multi-class or the feat Gift of the Metallic Dragon. This might be a great boon to transformation spells like Tensors and Otherworldly Guise, as it lets you get into the mix of melee combat if you truly want to. Overall, the Blood Wizard's got a tricky balance of abilities. 3 of them involve either hurting yourself or responding to getting hit, which is kinda counterintuitive for a class with notoriously low hit points. They have multiple ways to make sure they deal a lot of damage, further enforcing the idea of a glass cannon, and their blood price spellcasting lets the party ignore some heavy hits to their wallet. This is a character that will quite literally live or die by the support of their party, and how well they can mend your masochistic machinations. Those who think the subclass might be lacking, it's important to remember that wizards are plenty strong by default. With a 300+ spell list at their disposal, they could have no subclass features at all and still hold their own. So, if you're looking for a darker twist to your scholarly studies, or simply a new way to paint your town red, the Blood Magic Wizard might be for you. Or take a look at the Blood Cleric, found in the same book. But we'll save that for another video. May your spells always be sanguine, your sufferings always shared, and above all, stay frosty.